I guess you love movies. I do too. Hi guys and welcome to another video, and today we're going to be talking about the upcoming Oscars. Obviously this is the 90th Academy Awards. There will be, we got the nominations just recently, and the ceremony will be on the 4th of March. I'm just going to be talking about sort of the nominations, people I'd like to see win, and also talking about pretty much why the Academy Awards don't mean anything, and evidence over the past decades of the reason why I think this. So, firstly, getting into the nominations, obviously for Best Picture, we've got, I think it's 9 nominations this year. A lot of them I haven't seen because my theatre is horrible and it decides that, you know what, we're only going to give you 4 Academy films. And I haven't seen... I'm going to see The Shape of Water. That'll be up on my channel soon. I'm going to see it today when I'm recording this, and it will be, tomorrow when I'm recording this, and today when this goes up. So look forward to that on my channel. That'll be coming this week at some point. But other than that, I've seen 3 Billboards, Outside Ebbing, Missouri, and Dunkirk. Those are the only 2 films that are nominated for Best Picture that I've seen. I loved both of them. It's very difficult for me to choose which one I'd prefer to win. I'm a massive Nolan fan, so I'd definitely like that to win, but I don't think it will. Really, I think it will probably win for a lot of technical awards, specifically editing, but I doubt it will win anything much else. It won't win Best Picture, it just won't. And I think 3 Billboards might actually win Best Picture, which will be nice to see, because it's not really the sort of film that normally wins Best Picture. I really like it a lot. I know there's some controversy around it, some people really don't like it, but I think it's great, and I really would like to see it win Best Picture. I also really like Frances McDormand to win for Best Actress. It's almost a certainty she will, because she's pretty much won every single other major award going into this ceremony. So she won the Golden Globe, she won the BAFTA, she's going to win the Oscar. I'm almost certain she is. If she doesn't, that's insane. Obviously, there's the normal snubs like Blade Runner 2049, completely snubbed. No directing nomination for Villeneuve, no Best Picture nomination. I knew it wasn't going to get any. Obviously, only technical nominations. But if Roger Deakins does not win for this movie, then I literally don't know what to say, because Blade Runner 2049 is one of the best looking movies I've ever seen. I don't know how it couldn't win. Like, Deakins, even if you don't think it's the best looking movie that Deakins has ever shot, Deakins' entire filmography deserves at least 1 Academy Award at this point. He's the best living cinematographer. Only really Lubeski really pushes him even close. He has to win for this movie. If he doesn't, it's mad. It is really going to be crazy if he doesn't. But that's really all I want to say about the actual nominations this year, because I really haven't seen enough of the movies to really give a proper good opinion on them. So I'm just going to talk about why whoever wins, it doesn't matter, because over the last 100 years or so, or over these 90 ceremonies of the Academy Awards, we have seen how they're meaningless, and really a lot of films that didn't win many Academy Awards or were nominated but didn't really pick up too many awards at the ceremonies actually became very culturally relevant films. That time has told that they're actually better than the films that won the awards at the time. So, for example, Citizen Kane in 1941 didn't even win Best Picture. He only won 1 award for screenplay, and everything else. I don't actually know who won in 1941. I only know that Citizen Kane didn't, which is crazy to me, considering arguably Citizen Kane is one of the most important American films, if not the most important American film of all time. It's one of the greatest films of all time, and it's insane that it didn't win as many awards as it should have done. Obviously now time has told how important that movie is and was and always will be to cinema. Over the golden era of Hollywood, obviously we had some really great directors, Billy Wilder specifically, but he also won a hell of a lot of awards during that period, which he deserved, definitely. But arguably the biggest Oscar snub of all time is the fact that Hitchcock has only won 1 Best Picture Oscar. I mean, you can argue that Hitchcock is the most influential director in history. And the fact that he only won 1 Best Picture Oscar for Rebecca, which is a good film, don't get me wrong, but it's nowhere near Hitchcock's best. films like Vertigo were a massive critical and commercial failure on their release. Simply, people just didn't get the movie, and it really didn't do very well. It was actually the movie that, the last movie that James Stewart and Hitchcock did together, because Hitchcock sort of dropped him after the film, thinking he was too old to, bring in an audience anymore. Psycho, even though it was a massive commercial success, was not a big critical success and wasn't really nominated for anything. Now, one of the most culturally impactful films of all time, North by Northwest and Rear Window, both didn't particularly do very well at the Academy Awards back then in the 50s. So it's really incredible to see that such a culturally important director like Hitchcock really didn't win that many Academy Awards. Films like To Catch a Thief, one of his it's a good film, it's really good looking and it won cinematography, but other than that, really, his films didn't do particularly well at the Oscars, but who cares? Because we all know how great Hitchcock is. The Academy Awards just don't matter. Also, in the 1970s, you've got movies like Taxi Driver, Taxi Driver is one of my favourite films of all time. I am obviously biased in this situation, but the fact that De Niro didn't win Best Actor for that movie is pretty incredible to me. Obviously, Peter Finch won it posthumously, which is fine. I understand he's very good in Network, but in my opinion, the performance by De Niro is much more culturally important and it's a much better performance and more well-rounded in my opinion. Also, as I was talking about possibly the biggest Oscar snub of all time, in my opinion, the biggest Oscar snub, other than Hitchcock entirely, is the 1974 Best Actor Oscar, which is completely mental. I can't remember the guy who won it, and I don't think anybody can, because in 1974, there were nominations for Al Pacino in The Godfather Part 2, one of the best performances of his career, arguably one of the best of all time. Gene Hackman for The Conversation, probably his best performance of his career. And Jack Nicholson for Chinatown, which probably isn't his best performance, but the film is amazing and he's great in it. So, Al Pacino didn't win, which is mental, but surely Gene Hackman won. No. So surely Jack Nicholson won. No. None of them won. And some guy I've never heard of a film I've never heard of and can't remember and cannot be bothered to look up because it's that pointless, won the award. I just don't understand. That truly shows how completely pointless the Academy Awards are. Like, what the hell is that? 2001, in 1968, got very mixed critical reception. A lot of people thought it was a masterpiece, and a lot of people thought it was absolute trash, including Pauline Kael, who I could make a whole other video on how I don't really like Pauline Kael, but 2001, in 1968, was not nominated for any of the big awards. Really, it was only technically that it was nominated. It didn't get nominated for Best Picture, or it didn't get any sort of really big recognition for the work that Kubrick did on that movie. So, all of this points to the fact that the Oscars don't matter. 2008, The Dark Knight didn't get nominated for Best Picture when it definitely deserved to. There are so many times in the past where the Academy has picked movies that simply aren't really that culturally relevant and they disappear and out of our consciousness after many years. There are definitely films that they got right. Casablanca won, The Godfather Part 1 and 2 both won Best Picture, even though the first one should have definitely won more awards. The fact that Pacino was nominated for supporting actor is still mental to me. Really, these awards don't matter. It's definitely a popularity contest. A lot of the awards are based on how much campaigning you do, and really, it doesn't matter. These awards don't matter. I would love to see the movies that I like get recognition for being as good as they are, but really, I don't care. And neither should anybody, really, because at the end of the day, it's a popularity contest. Everybody has their own opinions, and we're always going to like the movies that we're going to like anyway. So that's just a few reasons why the Oscars don't matter. So there you go. This is sort of the end of the video, sort of a bit of a rant on the Oscars. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, like, subscribe, drop your comments down in the section below. Who do you think is going to pick up the Best Picture and other awards at the Oscars? What are your predictions? Drop them down in the comment section below. And hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Goodbye.